AI is replacing artists, and here's how we beat it. Let's be clear. This isn't science fiction. AI is already flooding the world with songs, scripts, paintings, poetry, and most people don't even care where it came from. Because it's fast, it's endless, it's free. But there's one thing it's not. It's not human. It doesn't remember what your hometown smelled like. It doesn't grieve. It doesn't fall in love. It doesn't spiral into obsession over one perfect note. But as artists and musicians, we do. And that may be our weapon. This isn't a doomscroll video. This is a battle plan for artists to survive, win, create in a world that's forgetting what meaning sounds like. Let's go. Chapter 1. Lean into your humanity. We're entering an era of infinite content. Music, images, stories. Endless, polished, and soulless. Because AI doesn't invent, it imitates. It pulls from past data. We infer from life and use context to pull from our own personal experiences. That fight you had at 21, the smell of your grandmother's kitchen, the one sound from your hometown that still shows up in your mix. That's gold. That's stuff no machine can replicate. Even OpenAI admits it. AI outputs are statistical echoes, not original thought. That's why our story, our flaws, and our perspective may be our superpower. This is about doubling down on what AI cannot do. The future doesn't need more optimized content. It needs more of you. Chapter 2. Your process is the goldmine. AI can spit out 100 songs in a minute, but it can't tell you why it made them. Because it's black box technology, it means input in, output out. No story in between. But you're in between. The doubts, the drafts, the breakthroughs, the breakdowns. That's what people crave now. Look at YouTube, work in progress videos, behind the scenes edits, and breakdowns. They're exploding because the process is becoming the product. In a world where finished work is infinite, what's rare is how the work was made. The more you share your thoughts, your rituals, your setbacks, the more irreplaceable you become. Because your process cannot be copied, and process builds trust. Chapter 3. Don't compete on speed. We are not going to beat AI on speed. It can spit out 500 melodies, 200 scripts, and a fake TikTok hit before you even plug in your interface. But speed doesn't equal meaning. Take the downward spiral by 9 Inch Nails. Trent Reznor wasn't trying to make a hit. He was building a world alone. He turned the whole space into an instrument. He'd spent hours mutilating sounds, degrading tapes, screaming through distortion until the emotion felt right. Not correct, right. The process wasn't fast, it wasn't clean, but you can feel the blood on the walls in that record. AI doesn't spiral into obsession. It doesn't sit with a sound until it hurts. But you do, and that's your advantage. Stanley Kubrick once made Shelley Duvall do 127 takes of a single scene in The Shining. Not because he wanted perfection, but because he was chasing something deeply, disturbingly human. Something a machine will never have. Emotional weight. Because no matter what you think of Stanley Kubrick's process, AI is a consumer product. It will never ever push a human to the brink to chase the perfect moment. Because if it pushes a human to the brink, it risks losing a customer. But as humans, we will. So no, I don't think we will win on speed, but we might win on intensity, on intent, on the parts of the process that AI will always skip because they're too slow and too real. Chapter 4. Trust will become key. We're not in the information age anymore. We are in the disinformation age. And the internet is full of noise. Fake authors, AI influencers, deepfakes, and content farms dressed up as authenticity. Every week, another post goes viral and then quietly disappears when people realize that it wasn't even made by a human. And that's why trust, real trust, becomes our most valuable currency. You don't need to be perfect, but you do need to be present. You need to show your scars, your process, your second guesses, the rough drafts and voice notes that didn't make the final cut. That's what makes people believe you. In a world where people don't know what to believe anymore, the only way through, I think, is to show up with your full self. No polish, no pretending. The more the world gets flooded with synthetic content, the more powerful it becomes to be someone people can believe and trust in. Chapter 5. Know your enemy. If AI is the thing that's threatening us, our jobs, our identity, and our art, we can't just ignore it. We can't defeat something that we refuse to face. You have to study it, pick up the tools, break them, understand how they think or they don't think. Because only once you've studied them do you know what they can't do. I think to really understand your enemy, you have to look them square in the eye. Friedrich Nietzsche warned, "He who fights with monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster." And if you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss also gazes into you. What he meant is that when battling something difficult or dangerous, there's a real risk you might start adopting its worst traits yourself. So knowing your enemy isn't just about knowing what you're up against. It's about maintaining your integrity and humanity through the process. Because only by truly knowing the strengths and limits of what we face can we find the unique space where we belong and then fiercely protect it. That unique space is our territory. We must know what we are protecting, every nook and corner of it. We need to know the difference between a song that was written by someone while typing a prompt in the middle of a coffee shop and a song that hits you like a scar reopening. And if we know how to identify even the roughest of patterns which belong to AI, we know what not to be. We know what we are seeing. You don't have to love the tools, but if you don't know what AI is capable of, and more importantly, what it's not, you're flying blind. And in a war for attention, meaning, and jobs, you can't afford to be blind. Chapter 6. You're an artist, you're already prepared. Most people facing the new world of gig work are stepping into it for the first time. They're lost, unsure, and trying to find their footing in a rapidly shifting landscape where many jobs feel unstable or obsolete. But artists, unfortunately, we've been here before. As creators, we've lived with uncertainty, rejection, and the hustle long before AI became a threat. We're kind of used to carving out a space in unpredictable environments, adapting on the fly, and finding meaning in the struggle. This experience isn't just a tough lesson, it's a unique strength. While others are still learning to navigate gig work, we already have the resilience and the flexibility to survive and perhaps even thrive in the strange new dystopian reality. The future is uncertain, yes, but we've been trained by years of creative survival to weather disruption better than most. And that survival instinct might just be the edge we didn't know we had all along. And honestly, I remember being horrified when I saw one of the first DALL-E models clumsily draw up a Picasso in mere seconds. I remember thinking this is the worst this technology will ever be. And since then, I think the future has felt a little uncertain for most of us. I think the companies came for us, the artists first, because we were an easy target. Our data easy to scrape. And despite protests from artists, writers, and musicians, there have been no signs of slowing down. In fact, the masses have embraced this tech, unaware that it came from one of the greatest thefts in modern human history. But we don't just have to speak up, we also have to negotiate with the life that's staring us in the face. I think as artists, musicians, creative thinkers, we are uniquely positioned to show why humanity matters. Because if all the rule books of yesterday are being burned down, then the solutions to the future have to be creative. If you want me to deep dive into more topics about what the future of creative work might look like in this age of AI, please let me know. And if you're interested, I'd love to make more videos about it. If you've stayed till here, thank you so much. And I would love for you to subscribe and leave a comment. It means more to me than you know. As a musician, I love sharing my music. And here's a song I made recently that I'm really proud of. If you're interested, I would love for you to check it out. If you liked it, please leave a comment. I would love to connect with you.